is going on YouTube? This is Lawrence with Durasnare here, and today we're going to be talking about cramped snare maintenance and storage. Many of you guys have asked me questions about how to properly store your cramped snares and how to take care of them after use. Well, if you're wondering, you've come to the right place. We're going to go talk about what you do before, after, and how to make your cramped snares last. All right guys, let's get to it. All right, so we just got done crabbing and we have our snares right over here. They're all dirty still have a lot of squid juice and salt water on them. And what we want to do is open up all the loops and we're gonna spray it down with some fresh water. So we want to get off all the squid juice, all the gunk out. And you don't want any salt water on there because it affects the loops on there too. So we want to keep it nice and clean and the loops nice and open. We want to spray all the guts out, excess bait if there's still any on there. All right. Alright guys, so we just got done washing all our crab snares. Now you want to make sure all the crab snare loops are wide open. You see this crab snare loop right over here and how it's closed? You want to be sure you open this up after every single use after you're done. The reason why is because these loops maintain memory, and if you keep it like that, by the time you go out on your next trip, it's not going to bounce back like it is now. You see how it bounces back? You want to maintain that memory and that tension against the cage and the terminal right over here. All right, the aluminum crimp. So you want your crab snares open so that way it bounces back normally. You see that? That's a good crab snare loop, how it stays open, and that's how you want it every single time for your next trip. Okay, Lawrence, so what do I do if I've caught so much crab and now my crab loops aren't opening up all the way? Well, for one, that's a good problem to have, but we're going to talk about how to maintain and refurbish your crab snare loops. What I have in my hand is a used and abused Durasnare crab snare. You can see the red rock crabs did a number on the cage right over here. And this loop in the bottom, it does not bounce back all the way like these ones do. You see how these ones still spring all the way back? These are in great condition, and this snare has been used for at least a couple months already. But this one has been pulling a lot of crabs, so the memory is starting to go on this. But there's two ways that we can refurbish the loops. One way is by taking the loops and just massaging it just like this. So I'm kind of forming it back in the shape. So I'm pushing against and just running it through my thumb. So you see? Already better than the first time. So if you do that a couple times, this is a quick fix out in the field. But if you want a longer term fix, I'm going to show you the next method that you can use when you get home so you can maintain this loop and fix it back. But for now, I'm just going to massage it just like this, back into the shape, and look at that. Bounces right back. All right, so now I'm going to show you the second way. All right, so the second method of refurbishing your crab snare loops is by boiling a pot of hot water and dunking the entire crab snare in a bucket. So we're gonna start by boiling the water and wait until it boils up. All right, so the water is all boiled up, so now we're gonna pour it into the bucket. All right, so now I'm gonna pour it in the bucket. Alright, so now we're going to dump in the crab snare. And what I'm going to do is just basically soften up the loops a little bit. So it does not take long for the loops to get soft. So I'm just going to roll it around. If you have a bigger bucket or a lot more water, you can submerge the whole entire loops, but for me, I don't need to submerge the whole entire thing because I mainly just wanted to get the back loops back working. The rest of the loops on this crab snare was already perfectly fine, so I'm just running them through anyways right now. All right, I'm gonna shake it off, and now I'm gonna give it a quick massage. All right, so now I put on some gloves and I'm ready to massage the loops back into shape. So I'm gonna grab the side with the terminal and I'm just gonna bend it upwards. There we go, and just run my thumb along it, bending it the opposite side. All right. And I just want to keep doing that. Keep running my finger. Just like that. Alright. Just running a couple times. So now it looks pretty good. The terminals were seated back towards the aluminum crimp. So it's no longer all the way down here. It's shooting all the way back up. So that's exactly right where we want the loop position to be. Now we're going to do a cold water bath to shock the loops back into place. So we got our ice bath. Drop a crab snare in. Give it a couple spins. All right. Alright, so we're just going to let it dry off and I'll show you guys how it reacts and responds once it's completely dried off. Alright guys, so now that our crab snare is all dried off, you can see it's the same exact crab snare. I did not go and grab a brand new crab snare for this. It's no gimmick. The second method of refurbishing crab snare loops actually works. So you can see the back two loops, they bounce right back. You see how it snaps back? You can even hear it click. That's how snappy it is. So this is the method if your crab snare loops are so beyond repair that you can't kind of massage the loops out in the field. This second method will bring your loops back to life. All right, so I'm gonna go over something you don't want to do with your crab snares after you finish. So I see a lot of people throwing their crab snares in a bucket, just like this. So they just dump it in, just like this. So you see how that crab snare loop right over here, it has pressure right against the loops. And this one right over here, it's got that bend over here. So if you leave it in the bucket or a tackle box like it is here, all that loop is going to maintain that memory and that shape. So if it was, let's say, mangled up or on top of each other, you're practically deforming your own loops, and you're going to reduce the longevity of your crab snares and the loops. So absolutely do not put it in a bucket for storage or long-term storage. It's okay if you're going to go from the beach or after you're done crabbing, just put it in the bucket and then bring it back to your car. But once you get back home, be sure you take it out, okay? And you don't want to store it within an enclosed space where there's pressure against the loops. So one of the best ways to store a crab snare is just laying it flat. If you have like a workbench, workstation, just lay it just like this. There's no pressure on any of the loops. I'm not bumping it in against anything. It's nice and spaced out. This way it preserves the integrity of the loops. This is by far the best way to store crab snares if you have the space. But if you don't, then I'm going to show you another way to store your crab snares, and it's the best second alternative. Well, one way to transport and store your crab snare is by hanging them up using an S-hook. It looks similar to this. You just hang it off any ledge. You're gonna grab the leader line of the crab snare and you're gonna hook it on. So you see how there's no pressure at all on any of the loops? And you can hang multiple. So I'm gonna hang another one on the leader, just like this. You see how the loops are all open and there's no pressure on it? This is one of the best ways to store your crab snares. It increases the longevity of your loops, and it'll be looking good as new after every use. All right guys, so we've gone over proper maintenance and storage of crab snares and how to properly refurbish your old crab snare loops. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more tips and tricks. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video.